Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're joining for the first time, hello there. My name is Lois and today we're going to be doing something a bit different. We'll be learning how to make these pouches for beaded bags. Let's go.
Hey.
So my sister is a beader and she makes beautiful beaded bags. She also has a channel where she teaches, so go check it out. To start with, I'm going to be using this doll face fabric. It's a satin fabric. You can use any fabric of choice. You're also going to need a tape rule, a chalk, scissors, zipper, and of course ruler. So let's go. The first thing you're going to do is to measure the dimensions of this bag. So you're going to take the width and the height of the bag, and the width is 7 inches. The upper part there we have about 6 inches, but we're going to be using the bigger one, which is 7 inches. So by the time you tack it in, you just put the excess inside. So the height of this bag is about 5 inches. So remember, 7 inches as the width and 5 inches as the height. Then you take your fabric and fold it in two, just like this. So on the horizontal part of the fabric, you're going to take your width, and remember the width is about 7 inches. Half of 7 inches would give me 3.5 inches. We're doing this half because the fabric is folded in two. So you measure 3.5 inches and mark it like this. Then you're going to be adding seam allowance of about 1.5 inches. So you're just going to mark that there and mark it straight down like this. So what we have in total is about 5 inches times 2 of that to give me 10 inches. So on the vertical part, we're going to be taking the length of the bag. First, we're going to leave about 1 inch for the zip allowance. So mark out 1 inch like this. And then from that 1 inch down, we're going to take the height of your bag, which was 5 inches that we measured. So mark 5 inches there and rule a straight line to connect the lines like this. So that is the 5 inches from the zip allowance. Now we're going to also add seam allowance for the bag, and I'm using about 1 inch for my seam allowance. So just mark that there and connect the lines like this. So that is all for drafting the pattern of this pouch, and we're going to be making it a pair. So we're going to cut the back of this pouch or the front of this pouch. So just cut that. So this is how it looks when we open it up. We have a pair, the back and the front together. Now we're going to cut out another pair. This is going to be the lining. The lining is going to be inside of this pouch. So cut that out. Once that is done, we should have about 4 patterns like this. Now it's time to start sewing, and for us to start sewing this pouch, we're going to be taking out the zip allowance. Remember, we left about 1 inch for the zip allowance, so you're just going to mark it out like this and use a chalk to highlight the lines. So you're going to get your zipper. If you have a shorter zipper, that's okay. You're going to take the pattern and place it on top of the zipper just like this. If you want to top stitch your zip, but I'm not going to be top stitching my zip. I'm just going to place the zipper upside down like this and then pin it to the pattern. Take the other pattern and pin it also. Pin the zipper to the other pattern just like this. And once that is done, you're just going to stitch the zipper to the pattern straight, just like this. This is how it should look like after stitching. See how nice it looks. If you want to top stitch yours, no problem, but this is how I do all my zipper. So you're just going to open it up like this and then cut out the excess. Now while the zipper is still open slightly, you want to join the two patterns together. Just place it this way, make sure it's equal. Remember our bag, the dimension is 7 inches for the width and 5 inches for the height. So we are going to be taking the measurements, and we're going to be taking it from where we stitch the zip, that seam there. Measure 5 inches down. So just measure 5 inches down and then connect the lines together. After that is done, you're going to take your tape roll again and measure the width. What we have there is about 10.5 inches, and we're using 7 inches as the width of the bag. So you bend your tape roll like this to get half of 10.5 inches, and we have about 5.25 inches. So we're just going to mark that as the midpoint. So on each side of that midpoint, we're going to measure 3.5 inches on each side, the left and the right. So that is going to give us 7 inches in total. So just connect the lines together all the way up. Now we're going to start stitching from the zip allowance all the way to the other end, and after stitching, this is what it should look like. I opened it up at the zip allowance a little bit. You know why I did that in a while. So after stitching, this is what yours should look like. Now I'm just going to cut off the excess. Once that is done, you flip it over to the front side. And this is what the pouch should look like. You see it's coming together already nicely. And it's the same size with the bag. Now you can choose to leave yours like this, the way the inside is, but it's not really nice. So I'm going to be making a lining for it. And to join the lining, you're just going to place the patterns together like this. Take your tape roll and measure the width. What we have there is about 11 inches. Half of 11 inches is 5.5 inches or 5.5 inches. So you mark that to make the midpoint. Remember the width of the bag is 7 inches. So on each side of the midpoint, you take 3.5 inches on the left and on the right hand side. So just mark that and connect the lines together in a straight line. Now we're going to be taking out the zip allowance that we left. We left about 1 inch zip allowance, so you mark that out also. And from that zip allowance line, you mark the height of the bag, which is 5 inches. So you mark that there and connect the lines also. So now you're just going to stitch it around from where the zip allowance line is to the other end. After stitching, this is what it should look like. Now I'm just trimming off the excess. Now flip it over, and this is what it should look like in front. So you're going to take the pouch and flip it over to the wrong side, that is the back. Do the same for the lining, flip it over to the wrong side. Remember that space I opened up later on when I stitched the zip on the pouch? So just going to take one end of the zip allowance like this, place it together like this, take it and place the both of them and pin it together. So do that all the way down, pin it together. Do it for the other side, place it together and pin it all the way down. So once that is done, you're going to stitch them together. So because we're closing off everything, I opened up a seam at the bottom there. That is what we're going to use to turn the pouch to the right side, it is to the front side. So after stitching, this is what it looks like, the back and the front. Now just going to use that opening and turn the pouch to the right side. So this is what it looks like when we flip it over to the front, and the opening, I'm just going to top stitch it. Just close it off with a stitch, and this is what it looks like after that is done. Now just going to push the lining inside and our pouch is ready. You can see how nice and neat it is both in front and on the inside, and this is how yours should look like. Looks so neat, and look at how it looks like at the zipper area. So nice. Now if you want to tack it to the bag, you just place it inside like this. I think Jenny has a video on how to tack your pouches to your beaded bags. So you just place it inside this way and you go watch her video on how to tack it inside. I'll leave a link to the video so you can go watch it. And now the pouch is ready. So nice. So that is all for this pouch, and I'm moving on to making the second pouch, which is the drawstring pouch. And to start that, I'm using this pink doll face satin fabric. So I'm just going to fold it in two, just like this. So I don't have a bag for this pouch, so I'm just going to assume the measurements. To start with, I'm going to be folding it this way, fold the fabric this way. I'm using about 4.5 inches as the width of the folding, so just fold it nicely. Once that is folded, I'm going to be taking the height of this bag. I'm using 8 inches plus 1 inch will give me 9 inches in total. The extra 1 inch is for my seam allowance. I'm just going to mark that and connect the lines together. Then for the width of this pouch, I'm making use of about 10 inches. So 10 inches, half of 10 inches will give me 5 inches. So place 5 inches there, mark it and connect the lines together also. Now I'm not going to be making a lining for this drawstring pouch. We are going to be using French seam to do this. So I'm going to be taking about 1 inch for my seam allowance. Mark that there. And that is all for drafting the pattern of this drawstring pouch. So just going to cut it out. So now we're going to be cutting out the second part of this pouch because it's going to be a pair. So just place it on top like this and then cut it out. Here I'm just going to notch it so I can know where to make the folding from. That 4.5 inches that we folded earlier on, I just made a notch. Now we're going to open it up and face it wrong side to the wrong side. So I'm just going to label that the wrong side. That is the one that is not shiny. It's the wrong side, the one that's inside. Face it wrong side to the wrong side like this. And then you're going to stitch it round. but not all the way. Imagine you have a zip allowance, so you're just going to leave that part. So just stitch it, and this is how it should look like after stitching with that part opened. Now I'm just going to trim off the excess like this. Now when that is done, you're going to flip it over to the wrong side again, and this is how it should look like on the inside. You can see how neat it looks like on the inside even when we're not using the lining for this pouch. This is how you do a French seam. So now here we're going to be taking the width of the bag. Remember, the width we're using is 10 inches and we have about 11 inches there. So we have 1 inch extra. We're going to be taking about half an inch on each side of the bag and then stitch it round just like we did earlier. Once that is done, this is what your pouch should look like. You can see how neat it is. This is the wrong side. How the seams look like. Now you're going to flip it over to the right side. That is the front side of the pouch. And this is what yours should look like. So nice. Now remember, we folded about 4.5 inches earlier, so we're going to mark that and use a straight line to connect all of the lines all the way around. And if we take out that 4.5 inches, we have about 8 inches. That is the length of the pouch. So you're just going to mark that 4.5 inches all the way around, and then when you finish marking, you push it inside like this, tuck it in nicely. And once that is tucked in, you're going to open it up this way inside. So just open it and then fold about half an inch inside like this. So just watch closely how I'm doing this. I'm folding about half an inch inside like this. And I'm just going to place it and stitch it round. And once that is done, this is what the pouch should look like after stitching. See how it looks like on the inside? Looks so neat. And this is how the interior of the pouch looks like even without lining it. This is how your pouch should look like also. Now flip it over to the front. Now remember, this is a drawstring pouch, so we're going to be creating the casing for the drawstring, and to do that we're going to be taking 1 inch and then mark it from that seam. Mark 1 inch all the way round. Connect the lines together just like this. And do the same for the back. Now we're going to run a stitch on these lines all the way round. And this is how it should look like after stitching. So this is the casing for the drawstring. To pass the rope or to pass the string, we're going to be making an opening. You can choose to open yours at the side, but I'm going to be opening mine in the middle. I'm just going to fold it this way and use a chalk to mark the midpoint like this. So mark the midpoint and then take the razor blade. I'm just going to open it up. Make a hole that your safety pin and your string or rope can pass through. Just open it up nicely. You can choose to use fire or a soldering iron to trim off the fraying if you don't want the fraying. So I'm using this rope. You can also use this string. In Nigeria here it's called Shambhala rope. So you can use this or use a rope. that you've made. I'm going to be cutting the same length of this rope, and I'm going to be passing this string through my pouch. So just fix your safety pin like this and then pass it through. And once that's done, just draw it out and take out the safety pin, and this is what it should look like if you're using this string. Personally, I really don't like this string, so I prefer to use a rope that I've made. So just tie it like this, and this is how it looks like. You can tie the ends too so that it doesn't go out, and then use fire to burn off the fraying parts. So this is how it looks like if you're using this shambala rope, but I'm going to be using this rope that I've made as it is much more better to me. It's my own preference. If you like the shambala rope, no problem. So just pass that through. And once that is done, this is how it looks like. Don't you see the difference now? It looks much better. Don't you like this? If you like it, let me know. We have come to the end of this tutorial, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know, or you reach out to me on Instagram at @styledbyzitere. Check out my other videos too. To my next video, bye.